Hello and welcome. My name is Michael Sheely, and I serve as the VP of Business Development at Goldenore. And I'm joined today by Tomek Simonides, our Key Account Manager responsible for sales, and Artur Jarzabek, our Senior Data Architect who leads the implementation of projects for our clients. And we want to thank you for your interest and invite you to our presentation where we will discuss a project in which we delivered Exadata Cloud at Customer solutions to a company in the energy and fuel sector. This involved an on-premise to cloud migration of the client's Exadata machines. The successful completion of the project resulted in Goldenore being nominated and winning the 2024 Oracle Cloud and Technology Europe Northeast Customer Success Award. And for those of you unfamiliar with Goldenore, we'll start by sharing a brief overview of our company, our core competencies, and the clients we serve. After that, we'll dive into the business objectives and content behind the project and walk you through the execution and share results. Goldenore has been operating in Poland since 2013, in the US for the last 2 years, and more recently in Czechoslovakia, Slovak, and Hungarian markets for about 1 year. Over the past decade, we've built a team of over 50 experts, collaborating with more than 100 clients across sectors like banking, online payments, insurance, telecommunications, logistics, pharmaceuticals, and state-owned enterprises. Goldenore has demonstrated expertise across abroad in modern data strategies and technologies. Now, since the beginning, we've been a proud Oracle partner, with Oracle products serving as the backbone of our offerings. Alongside of Oracle, we also collaborate with other leading technology providers. One of our key areas of expertise is with Kafka ecosystem, particularly Kafka Connect and DBZium. We classify our competencies and services in 6 complementary areas, which allows us to comprehensively support customers in the field of data processing. We are distinguished by our knowledge and experience in the field of real-time data engineering. For more than 10 years, we have completed dozens of projects that involve the use of real-time data replication solutions in various contexts, mainly feeding analytical reporting systems in real time, distributing of data within organizations, including distribution of data into the cloud, and near real-time migrations and upgrades of databases. And currently, we are one of 7 companies in the world that can boast the highest level of specialization in Oracle Golden Gate, a leading solution in real-time data replication. So now that you know a little bit more about Goldenore, let's explore the successful Exadata Cloud at Customer project we recently completed. Tomek, you led the project from the business standpoint. Could you share some insights about the client and the challenges they were trying to overcome?
Thank you, Michael, for the introduction. Of course, I will share some thoughts. First of all, the projects we are discussing was carried out for a large client in the energy and fuel sector. This client had an old infrastructure which was based on Exadata X6 solution. Basically, all their production databases were running on it, so it is safe to say that it was a critical infrastructure for them. At the time, the Exadata X6 solution was already quite old. It's like 3 or 4 generations behind the latest solutions. As the result, the client began to ask himself, what's next? Do we continue to invest in maintaining the existing infrastructure, or is it better to undertake an upgrade? But before we worked together to find the answer for the question above, we identified 3 key areas for the client crucial for their business continuity. First of all, cost optimization. No matter how you look at it, every project must pay for itself. The expense must be justified. A responsible company will not spend money if it's not sure that the project will work for itself. Secondly, minimizing the risk. Maintaining the infrastructure which is aging becomes more and more costly every year. Moreover, despite increasing expenses, aging infrastructure tends to break down more and more often, especially old mechanical disks. So the risk of the business interruption, some kind of prolonged downtime related to the repairs increases every year. And finally, to ensure the growth, to prepare the infrastructure for the new business needs, to the new business ideas, those which we already know, and those which we don't know, but which may happen in the future. At this point, I would like to add one more important thing. The customer old infrastructure was almost 100% utilized, so any new projects or business initiatives would still require investment from their sides, adding some new components, buying some new infrastructure.
And Tomek, what was the process of selecting the technology like? What factors influenced the choice for Oracle Exadata Cloud Customer?
Yes, with all the needs that we described on the previous slide, we have analyzed a number of on-premise and cloud-based solutions which are available on the market. I would like to cover three of them, the ones which were the most important for the project and for the decision which was made. The graphs you can see on the screen will help us to understand the financial perspective. We compared the cost for this project in the 5-year perspective. The first bar from the left, which is described as 100%, represents the cost of, in case the customer decides to stay with the existing infrastructure and decides to maintain it for the next 5 years. The cost includes the maintenance of the hardware and the cost of maintaining the necessary database licenses. This solution is theoretically the cheapest, but completely fails to address the other two needs: to ensure the uptime, business continuity, and to ensure the capacity for the future projects. The next bar in the middle represents the cost in case the customer decides to go for the classic on-premise solutions simply by upgrading the existing Exadata from the version X6 to the latest one available. At the time of the project, it was version X9. This solution brilliantly addresses the need for the failure-free operation and increased capacity, because it was like twice of the existing one. Unfortunately, as you can see in the chart, it is the most expensive one, due to the need for the large investment in the new machines and in the maintaining the existing licenses. Licenses are described as the attic in this chart. The third bar shows the cost of the solution that was finally chosen, which is called Exadata Cloud Customer. What is this solution? It is the same equipment as the one in the on-premise solution, but it is not sold to the customer. Instead, it is leased to the customer. The customer pays for the hardware. We can call it equipment lease, which is a fixed fee. And customer also pays for the use of the resources, which is a pay-as-you-go model. So the higher is the load on the device, the bigger is the cost. There is no cost of the licenses, which was a significant one in the two previous solutions. Like the on-premise solution, this solution is also excellent in solving the challenges of business continuity and adequate capacity for the future projects. On the other hand, in terms of the cost, at the first glance, it seems to be about halfway between the other two. Well, this is only half true, as the chart shows the maximum cost with a full load of the equipment. We consider that it will be about 88 OCPU. OCPU is a special unit created to make it easily of accounting of this solution. Therefore, in the chart, this cost is divided into three areas. 20 OCPU, it's a minimum consumption paid in advance by the customer. Another 34 OCPUs, which is 54 in total, this is the consumption projected based on the current business needs. And finally, there is another 34 OCPU that is a provision for the new services implemented in the future. So we can say that with the current business needs, this solution should even be slightly cheaper than the old Exadata X6. And additional cost will appear only if the new services and functionalities are launched.
So Tomek, let me summarize. So we worked closely with the customer to understand their needs and find a solution that not only exceeded their technical requirements, but also provided the most value and the most cost-effective 5-year TCO. Did I get that right?
Yes, that's correct.
That's wonderful. Arthur, you've handled numerous complex projects throughout your career, facing a variety of challenges and working with different solutions. So going into this project, What were your initial expectations and what turned out to be some of the biggest challenges?
Yes, the project did indeed seem attractive from an engineering perspective, but during the analysis phase, we identified several challenges that we knew would have to be dealt with. The biggest of these were, first, the project schedule dictated a very short time to migrate more than 80 databases. We had about 150 days to do it, which averages out to less than 2 days provided for the migration of one database. This is not much time to perform the migration. Another challenge was to include in the migration procedures the integration of migrated database with Oracle Key Vault. All production databases had encrypted files using transparent data encryption functionality. The encryption keys for the databases were stored in external key store, the Oracle Key Vault solution. We therefore had to take this into account in the migration procedures and ensure the same integration of the database with Oracle Key Vault after migration while keeping compatibility with OCI Cloud layer tools intact. The third major challenge was to develop an appropriate mechanism for dynamically scaling the OCPU resources assigned to each of the virtual clusters on Exadata Cloud Customer, so as to provide the required database performance while minimizing the cost of using OCI Cloud credits. Thanks to our experience, these difficulties have been resolved.
Arthur, that does sound like a very attractive project, but I'm interested in understanding how the project unfolded and what were some of the key milestones. And would you say that the way this project did unfold and was delivered, is that the new standard model for similar projects like this?
Yeah, I think. We started our work by developing the technical project for the proposed solution. We completed it even before the new Exadata Cloud Customer platforms were delivered to the client server room. The installation was performed on July 2023 by Oracle personnel. After the installation work, we started the configuration activities required for database migration, such as creating additional virtual clusters, additional home directories for database binaries, integrations with monitoring systems like Oracle Enterprise Management Cloud Control, and with the backup system. At the beginning of September 2033, we began work on developing a migration procedure and establishing a schedule for the migration of individual databases. Due to limited short time allocated for the migration of the selected more than 80 databases, we decided to develop procedure using the zero-downtime migration tool. Such a method allowed us to automate the creation of replication of source databases to Exadata Cloud Customer platforms. Thanks to such a procedure, we were able to perform the migration of few databases in 1 week. We started test migration in October 2023, while the first migration of production databases started already in December. Finally, all databases were migrated by April 2024, which was before the required deadline. All migrated production databases have been integrated into Oracle Key Vault, and Oracle Data Guard replications to the second data center has been configured for them using cloud tools. In the meantime, we created and configured a tool and policies for dynamic scanning of OCPU resources assigned to the virtual cluster to ensure performance requirements while reducing the cost of running the Exadata Cloud Customer service. I think that in most of these types of migration projects, such a cars would be very similar and can be considered generic.
Well, thank you, Arthur. Let's go back to Tomek. Tomek, going back to the business perspective, can you talk about the results that were achieved and if you believe we met the customer's business expectations?
Well, yes, let me start by saying that the prediction of OCPU consumption turned out to be very accurate because the real consumption after the migration of all services does not exceed 56 OCPUs against the previously predicted 54 OCPUs. Also, customers were under control and lower than before with the old solution. The performance of the system has also been increased significantly, mainly due to the use of the processors, which were 3 generations newer, and by doubling the amount of available RAM memory. And what is very important, the infrastructure has a large reserve of the capacity. As you remember from the previous slide, we are now using only 56 OCPUs out of 88, which are predicted as a maximum to cover the future needs. Thus, we are still having a lot of space for the business growth. Let's also get an engineering perspective as well. Artur, what were the key results realized by the customer from your perspective, of course?
Yes, from our engineering point of view, the migration of more than 80 databases from local on-premise Exadata X6 platforms to OCI Exadata Cloud Customer service has streamlined the management of IT infrastructure dedicated to databases. Most administrative tasks, such as creating new home directories for databases or updating operating systems images, grid infrastructure, and similar tasks, have been greatly simplified thanks to the automation mechanism provided by the OCI service. This saves time for database and infrastructure administrators, allowing them to focus on development activities. The implementation of automation for dynamic scaling of virtual cluster size has minimized the cost of using OCI Cloud credits while relieving administrators of the task required to change the number of OCPU assigned to virtual clusters. All production databases were secured using Oracle Datagate replication configuration between 2 Exadata Cloud Customers platforms located in remote data centers. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure built-in cloud mechanism for creating and managing Oracle Datagate configurations have significantly saved the time and work involved in administrating Oracle Datagate replications. So we actually see here only advantages when it comes to the area of infrastructure and database management.
Wonderful. And to wrap up, this project has demonstrated the value of selecting the right solution for both technical and business needs. And we've seen how Exadata Cloud Customer not only optimized costs, but also provided scalability required for future growth, while simplifying infrastructure management for our client. So thank you all for your time and attention today, with some special thanks for Artur and Tomek. We hope the presentation gave you valuable insights, and we look forward to continuing the conversation and exploring how Goldenore can support your modern data strategy needs.